St. Louis, the gateway to the West, is now the gateway to the best.
Swing and get up, baby! Get up! Get up! Get up! Get up! Home
The game is over. The series is over. The wait is over.
What's a-happening, nerds? I'm going to do a VR tonight, like a VR and a half kind of thing tonight. A while back, John over at JW's Dugout, he did his 1 year anniversary, and for him it was showing off a card that best represents your story. But one of the things is, like, I feel like that's all I've been doing, kind of thing. So I didn't participate in the VR, although I watched and commented on his videos. But now Dan over at Dan's Vintage PC, he's hit his 3-year longevity mark. So congratulations to both of those guys for hitting those markers. And so with his, it's, what's a card that best represents you and your collection? And so this one I think I can have a lot of fun with. And so that's what I'm going to do tonight. And I picked one card, and you all might be surprised because it is not an Ozzie Smith card. And so to kind of lead into the card that I'm picking and everything, it's, I don't collect any specific era, any specific sport, although baseball does dominate my collection. But I've got pre-war cards, I got vintage cards, I got modern cards, junk wax cards, ultra modern cards. I've got non-sport cards. They go all the way to the 1800s and everything. So, but one of the things that remains constant is it's all very, very much St. Louis, right? That's why I'm wearing this jersey. And like Nelly said,
so feel me when I bring it, sing it loud. I'm from the loot and I'm proud.
So I wanted to pick a card, because I am predominantly a player collector kind of thing, that kind of represents it, you know what I mean? And it's funny because when I watched Dan's video, it was almost like immediate that I knew which card I would pick. And so without further ado, I'm going to show the card. And it is this Yadier Molina 2022 Topps Home Field Advantage. And I've showed this card before. As a matter of fact, Rob over at Bucks and Six kind of made fun of me because it's in a slab, and we'll get to that in a second. But it's funny, these cards were kind of panned as a knockoff of Downtown or something of the sort. And I do remember when it first came out, it was like a $60 card, and I just thought the imagery was amazing, But it's like, do I want to spend $60 on a card, especially at that time? And the answer was no, and I waited and waited and waited, and was able to get this for $26. And of course, I graded it, and it was $18 for grading fees after when I did that through my LCS. And I looked it up recently, and this card sells ungraded for like $120. So thank the Lord that I picked this up when I did. But let's get back to the card. And so being very much a St. Louis guy, you got the Cardinal Bird, of course. You got the Clydesdale. You got the music notes for, I kind of tie it with the St. Louis Blues, but there was the National Blues Museum here in St. Louis, although that closed down recently. You got the Arch, of course, very iconic monument that everybody knows of when they think of St. Louis. You got the old courthouse, which is actually very important in our nation's history. Because of the Dred Scott case. But then you get into the player, Yadier Molina, that I absolutely love. Yadi. You've heard me talk about that so many times. I've based a sub-collection off of just him that I completed recently. But it speaks to his greatness, 10-time All-Star. And this card was manufactured his last season, because they made some of these hometown advantages of retired players, such as Ozzie Smith, Babe Ruth, Ken Griffey Jr., and a long list. I think Ernie Banks, and you can just go on and on. But this was made while he was playing his last season. And so, it's got the player, it's got the city, it really speaks to his greatness and everything, and that it just looks freaking amazing. You know, and the fact that it uses a real image of the player, I like it more so than the downtowns that I don't have any of. But absolutely awesome. And of course on the back of the card, because I do like the backs of the cards, just talks about how great Yachty was as a player, is at that moment in time. And this is just amazing. And it's kind of funny that I'm showing this card because Dan, it's in the channel name, he's a vintage guy. Duh, you know. But, you know, he asked the question, and this is the card that I just think best represents me and my collection. I don't think it would surprise anybody, you know, because it's not a favorite card kind of thing. It's just what represents you. So another thing that represents me, you know, and so I was thinking, if I had the chance to meet Yadier Molina, what card would I have him autograph, you know? And I thought about that. And one of the things I'm known for here on the YouTube is, what do? Crack out slabs. This is the card that I would take with me to have Yadier Molina. Just an amazing catcher. And I've thought about this off and on. But where does Yadier Molina rank on my all-time favorite players? And it's honestly, it's very different than Ozzy. You know, it's hard to compare him because, you know, with Yachty or with Ozzy, I came in on the tail end of his career, whereas Yachty, I came in, you know, on the front end, got to watch his entire career and everything. So if I really had to, you know, describe it, it'd be like more of like a 1A, 1B kind of thing, just because of the differences. And so you see, oh, there goes the label. Darn. Cracked it out of the slab. And I don't have a spare One Touch with me right now, but I'll go ahead and put it in this top loader for the time being. And now, this card really really represents me in my collection because it's ungraded now. Good thing it was in that top loader because I threw it, right? Man, if it had been in that slab, it might have cracked and I would have had to get reholdered. Oh, but anyway, back to the card though. Absolutely amazing. You know, look at that shine. Just the imagery. Absolutely love it. So now, like I said, you know, congratulations to Dan, and kind of like a belated congratulations to John. You know, their 3-year and 1-year marks. Hopefully, you already know who I'm talking about. I'll put their channel links down below. Dan's will be in the title of this video, as requested. And in case you didn't know, he's giving away a 1971 Thurman Munson. You know, it's an amazing card within baseball, you know, history because of the 71 set, the imagery and everything. But, you know, Thurman Munson's one of those all-time greats that, honestly, if it wasn't for, you know, the annual, like, he should be in the Hall of Fame discussion, he could have been, you know, he could be one of those forgotten players, which is unfortunate. But anyway, you know, this is how I'm nerding out. And thanks for nerding out with me.